Hi. I want to say it's been 6, maybe 9 months since we've posted something here, and that's going to change. So I love talking about YouTube channels and running them. I love talking about SEO and content creation and niche websites. And I really love talking about weird side hustles because I have ADD and working on weird stuff all the time keeps me kind of entertained. The channel you're watching just now has always been a bit of a side project for me. A way for me to talk about what I'm doing, but it was always a bit time consuming. And I run 20-ish websites and half a dozen YouTube channels and other projects on top of that. Didn't have the time, but we're going to change that. So we're making changes to how we run as a business, and we're making changes to how I want to do the case studies like this. So super quick video just to give you an idea of what we're doing for 2023, both in the business and this channel. So first up, if you saw any of our previous case studies from last year, I would run an individual case study for different YouTube channels or different websites. So we have an AI-driven website, and we were talking just about the AI-driven site. We had a small micro site, and we were talking just about the small micro site. The problem is SEO is kind of slow moving. If I start a new project today, it'll be months before there's really much to talk about. And that doesn't make for an interesting video because I can just pop up on YouTube and go, hey, nothing's changed. We're making content. Not fun. So what we're going to do is try and squeeze things together a bit. So we still work on a lot of different websites at once, and we work on a lot of different channels at once. And what I'd like to do is, rather than make an individual video for each individual case study, is wrap everything up together. So once a week or whatever we're doing the update, whenever there's something interesting to talk about, I want to come on and say, hey, this is happening with this SEO project. This is what we've been trying. This is what is working. These are our results. This is blown up in our face at the same time. So maybe that'll make it more interesting for you guys, and maybe it'll be more interesting for me to produce the content. The other thing we're changing is, you might notice I don't really script these videos. I sit with a coffee and open my mouth and see what comes out. I also don't edit them. So we're using a tool called Descript now, which will hopefully be editing out the wee bits where I stutter or pause in these videos. Hopefully that means it runs smoother for you guys and I still don't actually have to, actually edit them. So win-win. We are making some changes to how we run as a business going forward in 2023 as well. I'll probably talk more about these when we kind of get to those case studies. But in general, first we have to address AI, okay? Because who isn't? Especially since ChatGPT, my own mother messaged me about AI. So I started a case study about 6 months ago-ish, maybe 8, with an AI-driven website. Now, we will get more into that in another video when we're updating kind of how websites are doing and things. However, it's doing very well. I think the traffic near enough doubled during the December updates. It's going well. So the way we're approaching AI going forwards is we're both working with it, and we're kind of trying to not work against it, but hedge ourselves for some of the changes it's going to bring. So we're not going to touch on how search engines themselves might change, but the landscape at the moment is going to change. I dare say at least probably half of you guys, maybe more, are working with AI to some extent. And that means partly a more competitive environment. So some websites out there have, 500, 750, maybe 1,000 posts, and they're ranking because they have strong topical authority. If I have one post about the best coffee mug and the best coffee maker, okay, sure. But if another site has 300 posts about different types of coffee, how you make coffee, how you clean your coffee machine, the best coffee machines for different situations, how you know if you've run out of coffee, if you're just talking a lot about coffee, Google kind of goes, oh, they know about coffee and they're more likely to rank them. Okay, so topical authority is nothing new. Most of you guys probably already know. But the basic idea is, if you're talking about a subject, you probably know about that subject. AI is going to change things because whereas before you had to either write 300 articles yourself or put in the money to get writers to do it, now someone can come along with AI, have that 500 post website in a fraction of the time that you had before. So topical authority right now works. If you're using AI, you can still leverage that. The further forwards we go and the better the content AI is able to produce, the smaller the edge that's going to give you. So we are using AI. I've mentioned this before, and I'm sure we'll talk about it again. We don't just let AI mass produce articles. That's probably a recipe for disaster, or not. Some people do this as short-term projects. We'll talk about that as well for those who haven't seen this stuff. But in the long term, we like our sites to at least have some kind of longer term view to them. And we use AI to help produce the content. And I'll talk about kind of how we're doing that going forwards. But as we are producing all of this content, everyone else can produce the same amount of content. So now we're looking at building a brand. Now, I feel like a lot of people for online businesses say build a brand in a kind of not meaningless way, but not really explaining what that means. If you're building a website and you have content, you have a brand, kind of. If your domain is, coffeecups.com, you still have a brand called coffeecups.com. But when I say build a brand, I mean it's partly Google EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust, right? So basically showing Google that I am not a thin affiliate site that's just cranking out AI content. And the way we do that is we get a face for the brand, whether that's myself, the channel you're watching just now, for example, that's a brand. It's a small brand, but it's a brand. It's me, it's my face, this is what I'm doing, this is what I know. For other sites, we like to hire someone who actually knows what they're talking about. So using that coffee site example, we get someone who knows coffee, who doesn't just drink the coffee in the morning, but actually knows how to make it. They're interested in it. They keep up to date with the news. And that means we have a face for the brand. And that doesn't just mean we're adding an about box with their face on it. I don't think EAT has much to do with on-site. I know some people disagree, but from what I see, it's mostly off-site. So part of that is getting links from trustworthy sources, which are more likely to link to you when you have a face of a brand. We'll talk more about this in another video, I'm sure. But on top of that, social media. Now, there are plenty of SEOs who don't use social media at all. And that's fine. I get that. For some, especially in some markets, it's easier to produce written content and post on a website, maybe with some images, maybe some stock art or whatever it is. I like to hire someone who knows what they're talking about and go out and create YouTube videos and TikTok shorts and Instagram reels and images for Instagram and maybe do a Facebook page or whatever it is, Pinterest for sure. And this always depends on the market. Some markets aren't on TikTok or they're not on Pinterest or whatever it is. And part of this gives us traffic. We have traffic that comes in every single day from YouTube and from Pinterest and from TikTok and all these things. And a bit of diversity there is good. Now that does take more work, or from the business standpoint, it takes more money because we have to pay someone to do that. And we then have to hire people and manage that and things. But where I think that is worthwhile is not just the traffic it brings in, but it gives us that bit of a moat. So while we are producing a lot of content with AI, we're also leveraging that into building these small mini brands, really. And then yes, we also go into outreach, and the fact that we have these YouTube channels and social media channels also gives us a way to get in touch with other websites, and we are more likely to get backlinks because of it. So I'll talk more about that in another video, but that's something we've been doing for the past year, and it's something we're going to do more of in 2023. And YouTube, I have said this before, I think most affiliate marketers or most content marketers are missing a trick. If you go down into the YouTube rabbit hole of how to get started in YouTube, it's competitive. Of course it's competitive. There are millions of YouTube channels out there, loads of content creators. I'm not saying YouTube isn't competitive, but as someone who has done both, I'm saying I think websites are a lot harder. They're a lot more competitive. Whether you feel comfortable talking on the camera like this, and trust me, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Right? If you've made it this far, I mean, I'm not great on camera. I don't do scripts. I just waffle. Anybody can do it. But even the cost of paying someone else to run a faceless YouTube channel for you is so much cheaper than the cost of building up a website. And I'm not talking about paying some crazy fee to a web developer, web designers or agency, things like that. If you're just paying a writer like a normal rate, a website costs more than a YouTube channel does. And the YouTube channel will take off faster. Now, that's not to say every single YouTube channel is going to succeed. It's not. Of course it's not. Look at this channel. I let it die for half a year. At the time you're watching this, it probably doesn't have 1,000 subscribers. So it doesn't have ads. It doesn't have anything. I don't sell anything on this channel. But I have a couple of YouTube channels and I have a whole lot of websites. The YouTube channels are more consistent. If I start a YouTube channel and I start a website, I can be relatively certain the YouTube channel is going to have some revenue before the website is. And I've been in SEO a lot longer than I've been in YouTube. So I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying I think YouTube might be, if not easier, it's certainly faster. But I'm sure there's people who disagree with me, and that's cool. But we are taking more of an interest in YouTube, and we're definitely getting more into YouTube content creation in 2023. So that's it. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to be producing a whole bunch of these videos, and we'll start talking about kind of our old case studies and new case studies, and hopefully have some more updates to come.